What's going down, my people? What's going down? Tuesday. Video number 2 of the Plan B with Mr. Elk Spaghetti. That's me. Today we're going to be covering geothermal greenhouses. The when, the why, the what, the where. Why? Because this is something that you could possibly use to cut costs way down to provide stuff for you and your family that is either going to not be available at all or it's going to be stupid expensive. So for those of y'all that have no idea what I'm talking about, geothermal greenhouses will provide you a uniform environment, whether it's winter or summer, to be able to grow the fruits and vegetables that you're going to want and need in a uniform temperature. Now, in certain places, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, I have to roll up the greenhouse doors and let a lot of that heat out because it's too much heat in the room. But basically, through a system of perforated piping, big S patterns, approximately 6 feet down under the ground, set on top of some rock and encased in rock, the air is going to be cooler or warmer depending on the time of the year. If it's winter outside, that air that's down there below your surface soil, 6 feet or below that, is going to be warmer than the ambient air up top, whether anywhere between 50 and freezing. You're going to want to keep it in optimal range to be able to grow fruits and vegetables. So this is something that you can get all the supplies for at your local hardware store, whether it be Lowe's, Home Depot, or otherwise. They also have kits that you can buy that are already pre-packaged, designed, where you buy them, they deliver them to the house, and all you have to do is worry about the manual labor portion of it. They're not too hard to put together. However, what I will say is, depending on your size, the size of the greenhouse you want, you could have a lot of work on your hands. Like me, I'm looking at probably going, 40 feet wide, 100 feet long, and 2 of them. That's a lot of earth to move, so I'm probably bringing a tractor in, a backhoe, to be able to move all that earth for me. But if you're going to go on the smaller side because you have a smaller need, then you may be able to do that yourself with you and a couple of buddies or some family, to be able to dig out what you need to dig out. Keep that soil. You don't want to discard it. You'll use it later in your process. Just wheelbarrows handy, keep it off to the side. You'll be able to fill your grow boxes, and I'll get to those in a minute. The resource that I'm going to throw up for y'all on geothermal is, he has been doing this a long time. LDS Prepper on YouTube. Great guy, puts up a lot of information, puts a lot of thought and time into his videos. They're long, but you are going to get complete picture information on what he's talking about. He's also got insights on different plant foods to use, sources for seed to get you started, so on and so forth. Grow boxes, we'll cover those as well, so you'll have a link up. I keep looking to the side because I do notes for y'all. I told you I'd come prepared, and I want to lay it out there to where I give you guys the resources, so I have notes written out for each one of these videos, so that I get you everything that I pre-planned out. So I'll link those down below, and you guys will be able to hit those links up to get over to his page. It's worth a watch. But the way the geothermal greenhouse works is, first you dig it out, you cover the bottom with it's almost a fabric. What you want to do is prevent anything from growing up through that, and then your rock and your perf pipe and your S formations, you want to lay down so many feet inside of whatever space you're using, and he has a formula that lays that out, and then you encase it all in rock, so that you're creating that air buffer. So during the winter, you're drawing warm air up to keep everything inside your greenhouse at that 60 degrees in that sweet spot to be able to grow, you know, say even tropical fruits during the winter. When there's snow outside your greenhouse, you'll be able to grow fruits. Now, in certain environments during the summer, if it's hot outside, you'll be drawing cooler air and forcing that into your greenhouse is lowering it down. You're also gonna have to worry about condensation and stuff like that, but that's gonna be advanced where he explains a lot more into that. How this works is it's a fan that goes onto the piping at one end of your greenhouse, and then you can either hook it into your electrical grid for the house where you're drawing your power from, or you can get solar panels. Put a couple of solar panels up, completely independently powers your greenhouses. That way when you have the fan on, running the heat, because you're monitoring the temperature, the humidity and everything else inside the greenhouse. You want it to fit what you're doing and what you have planned to grow. It is an outstanding way to grow fruit and vegetables year-round, as well as hanging boxes and baskets for spices, so on and so forth. You should never need to go to a store or a farmer's market for anything like this. You should be the one at the farmer's market, or people coming to you where you can trade certain stuff off, like, hey, you're growing this, I'm growing this. It's an excellent way once you establish yourself even outside of the downturn and no availability within your small community of, hey, this person has this, and you can start setting up that barter system where, you know, you're growing more than you obviously need, but you'll be able to put some of that out there for other people in need in exchange for other stuff you might need. In the future, we'll get into preservation. It's going to be our next video, so I'm not going to get into it now. Just know that for those of y'all that are like, no, that's too much, I'll never use it, it'll never work for me, I'm going to give you guys a complicit guide and links on how to preserve anything that you happen to hunt, gather, or grow to be able to maintain that shit year round. Preserve it to where it's outstandingly awesome. Now, what I will say in this video, being that I covered the geothermal greenhouse in a nutshell, when you go over and you guys see LDS Prepper's page, you'll understand how much knowledge this guy has. I'm still learning through his videos as well. I've got a good working knowledge of how everything works, but he still comes off with stuff because he's figured out through trial and error what works and what doesn't, and how to get the most out of your crop. Grow boxes. He has complete video on how to put together grow boxes and then compile soil for those grow boxes. What I'll tell you here, without getting into too much detail, is do not use treated wood for your grow boxes. Treated wood for fencing and, you know, different stuff like that, cool, but that has chemicals in it that you don't want seeping into your soil, spoiling your soil, and what you grow, you're gonna end up with that chemicals in there. So when you do make your grow boxes, there's a process kind of similar to, you know, what they use to for like whiskey barrels, to be able to slow that aging process from the inside out, because obviously you're gonna complete your soil in those boxes, and then there's a process with sawdust and then using the proper plant foods, because that soil is only going to be good for so many different harvests, and then you're gonna have to rotate it out and new stuff in to be able to get the most out of most bang for your buck. Now, to complete this video properly, because I don't want to go too much over, I'm at almost 9 minutes now, so the other thing that I'm going to cover is, for those of y'all in the Midwest, you probably understand this, but a root cellar, it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be ginormous or extravagant, but a root cellar will help you maintain all your root vegetables past what you would normally see. You leave a potato out in the light and it starts growing. Onions, same thing, growing. With a root cellar, you can maintain potatoes, onions, and some of the other root vegetables for up to a year if you have them hung properly, as long as they're taken care of right. We'll go more into how to the preservation process for different stuff in the next video, and the resources to be able to tap into for that portion of preserving what you're growing, so that you know exactly how much food you have on hand, how long it's going to last, and how long you can store it for before you have to use it or it spoils. And that's the last thing you want to do, is lose food that you happen to be growing for yourself. What I will tell you is pennies on the dollar. With that being said, to close out this video, in certain states and jurisdictions, they will cut you a check. The government will cut you a check for constructing a greenhouse. So check into it with your local city, county, or whatever, and see if they offer or incentivize the greenhouse process. I want to say it was through the FDA, I believe. Well, no, it wasn't the FDA. USDA, excuse me. I don't remember who it exactly. I think it was USDA. But if you look up rebates for constructing greenhouses, it'll pull right up. I didn't get a link for that one. When I do come across it, I think it's specific for regions, so I don't want to give you guys a link that only works in certain areas. So check it out for yourself. I love y'all, and hopefully this segment on geothermal greenhouses, root cellars, so on and so forth was beneficial to you. Check out the links listed down below, and LDS Prepper, that's going to be the place where you're going to go for a lot of different stuff when it comes to do with growing your own food, the abilities to do it, so on and so forth. So I will catch y'all next time. Mr. Alex Spaghetti, signing off.